It's recording now. It's recording. Ooh, shake it off. Shake it off.
Oh. Sorry, this is what we like to do just to warm up.
Yeah, just a little shoulder shimmy to get you moving. So, welcome to Tea and Wine with Ash and George.
Tea and Wine. I'm on the wine again.
I am on the finest chamomile tea.
Best in the world.
The best in the world, but I say it helps me sleep, but I'm up all hours and I just need a mallet at this point.
Yeah, tapping at the door.
I need putting down, really.
Little man.
Scratching. So, this week we are going to talk about dirt. Dirt and its uses within folk magic and various ways in which you can utilise that. Some sources, not all of this is going to be referenced because a lot, some of this is our own personal practice. And yeah, I mean, is there anything else you can elaborate
Just that it's really dirty work, isn't it?
It's really dirty
Really
work.
dirty. Like,
dirty.
Get your hands down to the dirty.
Do you remember, like, Christina Aguilera on both selections? Like, dirty as you like.
Dirty.
So yeah, Christina Aguilera aside and Bo Selector aside.
She's a great magician.
Oh, fantastic.
She makes me dance every time.
Actually, you do like that.
I do.
Yeah, I do. I kind of find it hot, the guy in like the pig mask and was like dancing with the muscles. I'm like, is it wrong? I find this really sexy. Just, it's not the pig, it's the humour.
It's the pig. But anyway, yes, let's get down and dirty.
Let's get down and dirty. So, first of all, dirt is used in a myriad of different folk practices around the world, in different traditions, in different folk magical practices. We see this in one of the largest examples is hoodoo. It makes use of things like graveyard dirt, things like guffer dust, which is mainly powders, but it does involve graveyard dirt within it. So there are so many different ways. Some of these ways can come from folklore. So there is a Manx cattle charm. So if you are selling cattle and somebody comments on how beautiful the cattle looks and they try to get that person down to like a price, almost to barter with them, and they kind of comment on, I think the horns on that cattle are stunning, or whatever, I don't know, like Daisy's tits are brilliant today.
It's seen as a way of like onlooking or like evil eye, to say something positive but means something the opposite.
Yeah, like that's so. It's
kind of like throwing shade. It's like, oh, your dress looks great today. Like,
wow, why'd you look at me when you said that? Bitch.
Do we need to start?
So this Manx cattle charm, basically, if someone throws shade at the cow, if someone basically gets like that when it comes down to selling cattle, then a custom would be for the person to then wait for that person to walk off, and where their right foot was stood, they would then gather the dirt and they would sprinkle that across the cow to make sure to counteract any maleficia, any evil eye that had been beset on that person. We've got notes, by the way. We're like a lot more organised.
Than the first video. But I think it's because like there's a lot to do with dirt as well. And I'm not saying that's not the case with stones, because we realised that we missed out on a few juicy things. But, at a later time we can discuss that. But yeah, like, so... And what we was talking in the other video about stones being absorbent on the landscape, well... What more is like dirt? It absorbs a lot, not just water and rainfall and all that the weather's throwing at it, but it also absorbs the history and the vibes and what goes on in that landscape. So, if you know a particular event in which what's gone on within that land, you can gather that soil for that quality. And there's other ways as well, like with dirt, like it may be transference. So you could say using dirt to transfer wealth from another onto yourself. And a good example of that is Alice. I'm probably going to get her surname wrong. Alice Kenner.
Killed it, babe. You killed it.
Kenner.
I'm joking.
Kenner. Kelter. From Kilkenny, which is where my family's originally from, on my mum's side. She was known as the famous witch. And basically, to help her poor son, she swept the town of all the dirt, hailing all the wealth of the town, and then sweep it on the doorstep of her son. So in this sort of sense, the dirt holds the wealth of the people, and therefore gathering it up, taking it, transferring it to one place, you hail all the wealth of the town. And she did this with a broom, and she said it was a chant as well. Again, not the life of me. I actually went there last year. It's now a neat little pub that's dedicated to her. It's brilliant.
Cute.
Yeah.
By the way, if you see me sweeping from Royal Bank of Scotland to this flat tomorrow, don't say anything.
No, I'm like, oh girl, we need that.
Grab yourself a broom.
We're moving out.
So, like you said, there are places to get dirt from, right? So if you have a particular energy, it's a bit woo-woo of a word, but it's true. Like if you have a particular
energy or vibe.
Property that you're wanting to bring in, then there are certain places you can do that. So for instance, if you're wanting health, you could get dirt from a hospital.
Yeah.
If you're wanting to make someone ill, you could get dirt from a hospital.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that dual side of a location, isn't it? Like,
absolutely.
You can take it from negative point of view or positive.
If you want to get money or finance, you can take dirt from near the front door of a bank. If you want to make someone's finances crumble, maybe see if they've got a back door there and take the dirt from there. My pun, that sounds weird, doesn't it?
Oh, no. Why not?
But,
wealth comes where wealth grows, isn't it?
Absolutely. And we actually came... I'm just going to mention it. The brothel thing. The cruising grounds. So if you're wanting, for instance, you're not wanting romance, you're just wanting a good old time.
A good old fuck.
Basically, if you're absolutely all about that and you're wanting that, live your best life, be safe. But, you can get dirt from a brothel. You could get dirt from a cruising ground, a hot spot where people go dogging. You could, we are classy ladies, aren't we? We are classy with the K.
We like our sex.
Classy with the K, just how you spell ketamine. But, you could get, or a sauna, like a gay sauna, you could get dirt from these places.
And there's a lot of dirt in them sort of places. So it's plentiful.
Yeah, but dirt holds that energy. It holds that vibration of that place. So that's a great thing to do. And you can incorporate that in a working, be it a candle working, be it a charm bag that you're making for yourself, be it a powder that you are making to dress candles or to carry with you.
Or place it on your own doorstep.
Yeah, if it's for sex, place that shit under your bed.
Yeah.
You don't even want to know the shit I've got under my bed.
Oh, God.
Actually, no, I shouldn't say that.
And that's bypassing all the
It's lockdown. That sounds like I'm just having sex with everyone through lockdown. It's really not that. No, it's not that exciting. And I couldn't do it.
It's more like cobwebs at this point.
It's funny because it's true.
And mine as well, if you're looking now. But we're not talking about bed magic. But
the trouble is, there's no spiders there.
There's other places, we were talking about... stuff from Crossroads as well. We talked about how stones, you can use them at Crossroads. So certain deities that are connected to the Crossroads for road opening, for allowing spirits to get lost and confused, because that's a lot within British folk magic, where things are placed at Crossroads in order to the spirit to get confused, it doesn't know which way to go. You can do that with dirt. So instead of keep going to the crossroads all the time, you can have crossroads dirt, keep it in your home, and have a little spirit trap with the dirt. And it's another popular one is grave. Well, there's two terms that these are
delineations. Delineations.
But we've heard of we both have two different terms. So there's graveyard dirt
and
churchyard dirt. So what I've learned that churchyard dirt is basically hollowed dirt. It's dirt used for hollowed purposes. So you can use it to sane things or to bless things.
Or to protect things. Yeah. Church, dirt taken from a church is fantastic for protection.
From evil.
Yeah, sprinkle that.
Like sprinkle it over your doorways.
Absolutely. Pop it in the corners. Like there's no, you can put it everywhere. God, we are like QVC with.
We are the QVC.
This churchyard dirt is fantastic.
Real nice.
Brilliant stuff. Great stuff.
And a little sprinkle, and that's all you need.
And that's all you need. Only for $9.99.
But yeah, and then there's the other term, which is graveyard dirt.
Yeah.
And that is for more necromancy, and it's dirt that's gathering most closest to the coffin.
Yeah.
Or has coffins that have been excavated for. I mean, it's very different. It's very hard that comes across, but sometimes coffins do get re-excavated.
No, actually,
so if that happens, grab yourself some soil.
Actually, once I was in a cemetery and I was passing a grave and it had lifted up and the dirt was on the coffin. You could actually see the coffin. So I did. God, I'm going to get arrested for like desecrating graves or something.
We're folk practitioners.
But I can't help it. It's my practice. But always one of the things is with graveyard dirt is leave an offering, because that person where the dirt was on that coffin, I had to leave an offering for that particular spirit. And again, like you said, the grim
is the
guardian or whatever.
Mostly the first person buried in the graveyard is the grim, and they're the guardians of the graveyard. But graveyard dirt is supposed to be for necromancy and for cursing and death curses sometimes.
Also, as well, you have there is use in hoodoo where that you can use graveyard dirt for a myriad of purposes, like hexing and stuff like that, and the famous love me or die spell as well. Jesus, I mean, I've been desperate for love before, but wow, there's a lot, and there is a lot. But there's also at what cost? Love me or just fucking die.
Shit. That's your choice.
I mean, I'm I think as a lover, I'm quite sort of dedicated to things.
Quite
but at that point, I'm like, do you know what, guys? I'll tap out. I'm fine. But one of the things, there are two things here with graveyard dirt that you can utilise. So, well, not that you can utilise, but some references. So, first of all, the Black Books of Elverum actually state within that book that if somebody is to sprinkle graveyard dirt around the vicinity of where people sleep, they will sleep like the dead and they will sleep through. In which case, please can you just chuck a bag of graveyard dirt at me to actually fucking sleep?
I think we might try and at this point.
But the other thing as well is that in regards to things like cunning folk and cunning folk practices, there are a couple of accounts of people taking dirt from a child's grave in particular, putting it within a white cloth and getting the client to wear that as a term to unbewitch them, as to rid them of maleficia.
Or cot death, or on not abortion,
miscarriage,
unwanted miscarriage. You can use that as well.
That's a really good point.
A lot of things in old folk magic is what happened to that person also counteract it. What happened, that whole thing with the cow. The first cow that got bewitched, you use the heart, the nails goes in, and it counteracts it. So.
I came across a really good spell, actually. It was a hoodoo spell, admittedly, but it was a spell to make someone feel like they were drowning. That's a really good spell. But you actually take the graveyard dirt from somebody that died at sea and use that within the working. And again, that is an example of what happened to that person shall happen to XX and X.
But then it could also use as counteraction as well.
Absolutely.
To stop someone from drowning.
Absolutely.
It's all in the intention, guys, really, isn't it?
Also, getting dirt, so to put influence from it. So this is one thing that I have done and has worked fantastic. So when you're just walking up, you're in a workplace and you're like, oh, I really want to do a spell on this place, but loads of people are around. Hold that thought. So what you do is you grab some dirt from that place, be it by that place, outside that place, or actually in the vicinity of where you work. Even if it's dirt from a plant box, anything like that, you can get that soil, you can take that soil home and you can charge that soil with the intent that you want to happen over that workplace. So for instance, this is at the top of my head, I want someone to stop being as controlling in work. Take that dirt, bring it home, put that intention into it. One of the things I find really I don't know why I do this, but I actually enjoy using birthday candles whenever I've done this work in, and I've actually spread the dirt out, charged my intent into it, and then like literally put like birthday candles in the dirt. So like I burn that will
like a mud cake.
Yeah. Like a happy,
delicious.
happy birthday, bitch! Don't be a dick.
Oh.
But you know, you can do that, and that's one of the things. Maybe it's because I'm a fire sign with a birthday candle, so I can't.
You've always got to put a cheeky bit of fire in it.
Grab a bit of smoke and fire. It's
all right, and it's like for me, one of the things that I do when I'm working with dirt to charge it up and put my intention into it. Is I just like to run it through my hands, like sands through my hands, and I just like to run it through and aid it with that power and speak to the spirit of that soil, that land, which mostly is because I know an event that happened and I want that event to happen too, but in my own situation, in my own tailored situation. Yeah. So I like to run it through my hands. I like running things through my hands, actually.
Okay.
God, lockdown's really getting to me.
I like that. Right. Oh. So the other thing as well is footprints. Yeah. So footprints, foot track magic, again, which is utilised within hoodoo traditions, but not just limited to hoodoo. In British folk magic, particularly museum, witchcraft in Boscastle, they have an artefact which is basically like a lifted footprint. You've seen it, haven't you? Yeah. And it's basically almost like sticks that have been put around the footprint.
Oh, it's like a little weave, like a weave fence that goes around.
Like weaved and in.
Oh,
what's it like hedging?
Yeah, hedging.
Like foot hedging. But so that person would weave that intention in and out, and that sort of person's footprint would be within their control.
I think it's black thorns into the dirt around, and it's like thread weaved around it looks like a fence around the footprint, but yeah, it's weird.
A footprint fence.
Yeah.
A footprint fence. But the other thing that we was talking about is actually you could go even more simplistically with that. You could just take the dirt from the person's footprint and you could take that home and you could put your intention into that so that person walks into what you put your intention into. Yeah.
And talking about footprints, not human prints, but horse prints, one thing which is not from folklore, it's something that came to me some years ago when I needed some luck in my life, was when I was walking in a field, I found like 3 horseshoes that were like imprinted in the ground together. So I took that dirt, dried it out, put it in like a bag, and just to aid me a bit of luck. And it was actually for a job, and I got 2 jobs. So it was
good. Yeah. Or safe travel.
Yeah. Well. Safe travel as well because they're a horse.
Yeah. I mean, even if you work, I'm really pulling out the stops here, babe. But like, if you work with St. George or you work with St. Martin, they both rode horses.
Oh, you could gather that dirt in their name.
Yeah.
So gather it in the dirt in the name of the horse that printed it, and gather it in the name of that saint or deity that's associated with travel or luck.
You should. That's a juicy one. You came up with that.
Oh, well, this is more like a proverb. So this is something, again, my own personal practice, and it goes to drag their name through the dirt. You know, we all know that proverb, like, don't dirty my name. So if someone's a bit all high and mighty or is acting a bit too authoritarian towards you and being basically a cunt, you can write their name 3 times on a piece of paper and just sit it in some soil and just water it ever so often in the soil and let it decay with the soil and let their name become dirt. So basically makes the position that they're in and what people perceive them as a lower one than it is at the moment. So it knocks them down a peg or 2. So it's good working. But I will go back as well, if you don't mind. No, I'll probably remember it by memory. So other things you can use dirt for is, so if you need money or some help in finance or business. So for business, you could, a lot of people use honeycomb, but you could use dirt from an anthill because like these ants are the saints, they're team leaders, they're team workers, and they literally work themselves to death. So if you are needing some help in your business where you feel like your team is letting you down and you're putting a lot of work in and others aren't, or you need some more money, or generally in the place you work, put a bit of ant dirt in the place of your own business, maybe at the front entrance or within your place of work. That will run finely. Obviously, charge up your intention. Add a bit of like burnt petition to it as well. Mix it all around, get it all blended. Then you throw it down at your place of work, and everything will run fine. We've done that before.
I love you so much. You're like, or if your workers aren't working as well, just work them to death. Just work them to death.
Good. Well, you just sit back for a while and watch it all roll.
Pour the tea and just watch them die.
And then also for money, which I've done as well. So there's a tradition that's sort of relatively started new in Britain, and then they're called coin trees.
Yes.
So a lot of people, like if it's like an old wooden stub, people will start hammering like coins into these stumps. Or like,
don't even go there. Those coins are useful.
Yeah, don't tell them out, because they're people. But they essentially make a wish and they hammer them in with like a stone. And when I was in Cornwall, and there was one by my old college, like there's many dominion of like coins of different dominion of different countries. Take the dirt or the moss that is on that stub, and you're basically borrowing the money from these countries. Not obviously like drawing, like, you know, like sucking them dry, but you're asking that you need a bit of money, a little bit of money to come into your life, and that is quite popular within magic, like folk magic, is to borrow.
Yeah.
So,
and like you said, like the dirt from around it, the dirt from underneath it, because that's finance, that's prosperity right there. Like that, like you were saying earlier, like dirt holds power, dirt holds memory.
Yeah.
So going back to what I was saying about imbuing something with your intention and will, if it's directed towards a particular person and you put it near the threshold, again, with folk magic, if something goes back and forth into someone's energy, into someone's aura, into someone's vicinity, that influence will start to rub off on them. It will start to rub off on their spirit. It will start to rub off on whatever you call it. It's going to have an effect. And it's that idea of transference through contagion.
Yep.
So that's why things like that within folk magic, the element of contagion works so well.
Like we talked last week about, you know, sympathetic magic. There is contagion magic.
Yeah.
So that's what it is, like influence. Well, that's more. I'm talking about that's more sympathetic magic. But yeah, what is in contact with one thing can also influence another thing.
Yeah.
So contagious magic.
And I mean, we've gone more into sympathetic magic, but I'm not going too much into it. But there was a doll you made for a particular place that you done for me.
Yeah.
And you swept the dirt, the dust from all of the house, brought it up and incorporated that inside the doll.
Yep.
And again, you can do that if you want influence over someone. You can sweep from their home, you can gather that dirt, you can put that in a doll. Like, again, things like
if you want to make a house doll, then perfect to get some air dry clay. I work a lot with air dry clay and make a lot of things with it, dolls and whatever, you know, and mix your dust, your house dust in the clay, and then that has the essence of your home. So that will be your house doll. Like, better to have your dust mix of it, 'cause, you know, connected with your home and your heart.
Oh, speaking of hearth, soot.
Oh, soot. Not soot and sweet, but soot.
So again, the same element. You can gather soot to have influence over someone else's home, over someone else's threshold. But there are so many things. Like, I actually heard a thing, and I can't remember where this is from. Admittedly, I cannot. Someone said that if you have any negative energy in your home, or your home feels a bit like murky, it feels a bit like stagnant, if you get a bowl of soot, it will act almost as like an absorbent, like, you know?
Oh, it absorbs.
Yeah.
Like some of how a lemon is used. So it absorbs anything that is negative or positive.
Same as with onions, but that I feel like that's our other video we've got planned.
Oh yeah.
We're not going to tell them.
I'm not going to go there.
We're not going to tell them.
But soot, yeah, get yourself some soot or
Yeah.
even some charcoal. You know, it does the same thing. On a plate, and allow it to absorb all that negative influence, or to absorb if you've been crossed or someone has put something on you, then the soot can absorb that, and then you just simply discard it, away. And as it's discarded, so is that influence, so is that negative, like, vibe or whatever that's going on in your home.
Get it out. You can sweep that bitch out.
Sweep
Practical magic style.
Clean house!
Clean house!
It seems like we're doing a lot of practical magic.
I know, we need to watch it. We need to watch it. I feel like I've reached a point in my life where I don't watch practical magic.
We just need to get our gin jams on, like, get a nice
Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah, just watch practical magic.
We're hot messes. I love it.
What else to do in it? And lockdown.
And last but not least, because we remember we're coming up to that time. Yeah. So clay, you can fashion clay out of, like, you can make anything out of clay. So I feel like we're talking about this because I will fuck the Gallic art.
Alright, so the creed, or creed, which is basically clay body, is what is known in Scotland in which making puppets, and it goes to that idea of like clay in a form of soil. It's mentioned in Genesis. Yeah. God created us out of soil, which is another thing I learned from you. You can open up Genesis.
Yes.
On that page and work and that
God created man and woman.
Yeah, from the dirt and the clay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so clay is very durable. It's very absorbent. And it dries, so it's a brilliant medium of soil because it means that you're working with it. It's flexible. You're shaping it, and then when it dries, it's sealed. It's done.
Yeah.
And then it can undry. So if in cases like the, Isabel Gaudy case, she would crumble her dolls or the corp creed or creed. And then put it into a river. So as it decays away or washes away, so does the person, so that they become ill, And obviously, as well, you can use it to make people better. So shaping it in a form of illness, or writing an illness on clay, putting it in a river. As it washes away, so does the illness.
Sympathia, the magic of sympathia again.
Yeah.
And I've worked with clay, like, not just within the realm of dolls, like you said, like
skin.
it's fantastic for the bags. But one of the things that like I've done so many things where I've made different body parts out of clay. Like you said, I've made the illness and actually like destroyed the illness, like the idea of killing the illness. Like I've done that with clay. There's no holds barred with clay,
which is something as well. I need to say before I forget. And we was talking about like a little revelation that we had recently about bog soil, like bog water, not bog water, bog earth or dirt, or peat from a bog. Like there's a reason why people of ancient societies of Britain put things into the bog, because they last forever. Humans, it mummifies them. It makes them forever in that state. So there's two things you can use them. You could use it for a facial thing, which apparently is really good for the skin.
Really?
Yeah.
Stink.
Peat bog soil. It stinks. It is stinky. Yeah. Hold a peg on your nose while you're doing it.
Yeah.
But to give in forever youth, to retain their youth. Or if you want a spell to be everlasting,
which be careful.
Be careful. We don't want to go all Owen sisters on this. But that I have known curses which I've not done some myself, and I think you have to be mindful of this, where they have gone on for generations. Like, I curse your grandchildren, this, and this, and this. But if you did want it, I'm not saying that, but if you wanted a spell to be everlasting, use the dirt from the bog, the peat bogs, and then that's it.
And that's it.
That's it. It will be everlasting because that's what it does. It mummificates anything that's put into the box. It mummifies it. They last forever. That's why we find perfect conditions of artifacts that are like 2,000, 300,000 years and people. Yeah,
like so many people are like, Britain doesn't have mummies. I'm like, yeah, of course it does.
We do. We have bog people.
We've got like bog
bodies that are found. Like
I love how like Egypt's like they're found in like gold and drapes. In Britain, it's like bog people. Put them in the bog. Put them in the bog. But again, you know, you say about that idea of like not, not necessarily doing that. I curse your grandson and their sons and their sons. But maybe that is a part. We are doing it about folk magic. That is a part of folk magic, you know.
But maybe you want someone's health to be everlasting. Maybe you don't want them to just be healthy, heal them of certain disease. Maybe you just want them to be all around healthy, and you could use that bog soil to do that, to be everlasting health. And you know what? People say it's unrealistic, but why wouldn't we want that for our family and friends? You know, if magic is available, use it. If it is possible, do it. You know. So we're at that time now, and I feel like that's it. That's it. That's it. So you've had enough of these two cunts. So I hope you enjoyed our video on dirt and all things. It's a really dirty video. Oh, we've got a really dirty video for you, haven't we? Just to get your hands all dirty. But get your hands dirty, guys. Over and out. Peace.